Their relationship wasn't without its challenges, work, parenting, and the usual strains of married life, but Ethan prided himself on his commitment to Lauren and the family they had built together. Lauren, a talented interior designer, had always been Ethan's anchor. Her creativity and warmth balanced his driven, analytical nature. They complemented each other, or so he believed. It started with something small, a feeling Ethan couldn't quite shake. Lauren had been spending more time on her phone, often smiling at messages she wouldn't share. She also began working late more frequently, claiming her clients demanded her attention on site. One evening, as they sat together watching a movie, Ethan noticed her phone light up with a notification. She quickly flipped it over, but not before Ethan caught a glimpse of the sender's name, Ryan. "Who's Ryan?" Ethan asked, keeping his tone light. Lauren barely glanced at him. "Oh, just a new client. I'm working on his office space." Ethan nodded but couldn't shake the uneasy feeling that lingered. Ethan's concerns deepened when he ran into Lauren's colleague, Mia, at a networking event. They chatted amicably until Mia casually mentioned something that sent alarm bells ringing. "It's great that Lauren has Ryan as a client," Mia said. "They seem to get along so well. She's been raving about how much fun the project is." Ethan forced a smile but felt his stomach churn. Lauren hadn't mentioned Ryan's name outside of that one time, yet it seemed he was a significant part of her work life. That night, Ethan decided to keep a closer eye on Lauren's behavior. Ethan's suspicions reached a boiling point one evening when Lauren left her laptop open while taking a call. Out of curiosity, and a growing sense of dread, Ethan glanced at the screen. Her email was open to a conversation with Ryan. While most of the messages seemed professional, one line in particular caught Ethan's eye. "Last night was amazing. I can't stop thinking about you." Ethan's heart pounded as he scrolled through the thread. It was clear that Lauren's relationship with Ryan wasn't just professional. When Lauren returned, Ethan confronted her, holding up the laptop. "What is this?" he demanded, his voice trembling with anger. Lauren froze, her face going pale. "Ethan, I can explain." "Don't," he snapped. "Just tell me the truth. Are you cheating on me?" Tears filled Lauren's eyes as she stammered, "It was a mistake. I didn't mean for it to happen." Ethan's world crumbled around him. Lauren admitted to an affair with Ryan, claiming it had been brief and meaningless. "It's over, Ethan," she said, pleading. "I swear. I made a terrible mistake, but I want to fix this. Please don't throw everything away." Ethan moved into the guest room that night, unable to look at Lauren without feeling a mixture of heartbreak and rage. Over the following weeks, Lauren tried to repair the damage, but Ethan's trust was shattered. He struggled to focus at work, his mind consumed by thoughts of betrayal. The unexpected twist. Just as Ethan began to consider the possibility of counseling, another shock came his way. While organizing the attic, he stumbled upon an old journal of Lauren's. Flipping through its pages, Ethan discovered entries from several years earlier, entries that revealed a second affair. The name Brandon appeared repeatedly, accompanied by descriptions of late-night rendezvous and passionate encounters. The dates coincided with a time when Lauren had claimed to be traveling for work. Ethan felt as if he'd been punched in the gut. Lauren hadn't just betrayed him once, she had lied to him for years. That evening, Ethan confronted Lauren again, holding the journal in his hands. "Care to explain this?" he asked, his voice icy. Lauren's face turned white. "Where did you find that?" "It doesn't matter," Ethan replied. "What matters is that you've been lying to me for years." "Brandon? Ryan? How many others are there, Lauren?" Lauren burst into tears. "It was before, Ethan. Before we had Caleb. I didn't tell you because I thought I could move past it. I didn't want to hurt you." "You didn't want to hurt me?" Ethan yelled. You've been hurting me every day since you decided to lie. The plan for revenge. Ethan's heartbreak turned into cold determination. If Lauren had betrayed him not once but twice, she needed to understand the weight of her actions. He began plotting a way to make her feel the pain she had inflicted on him. Step 1: Financial independence. Ethan met with a lawyer to discreetly explore his options. He began separating his finances from Lauren's, ensuring she wouldn't have access to his earnings if things escalated to divorce. Step 2: Gathering evidence. Ethan hired a private investigator to gather proof of Lauren's ongoing communications with Ryan. The investigator uncovered text messages, photos, and even a few clandestine meetings, all of which Ethan carefully documented. Step 3: Social exposure. Ethan considered exposing Lauren's infidelity to their friends and family but hesitated. He wanted his revenge to be precise, not petty. Ethan's plans took an unexpected turn when Ryan's wife, Emily, contacted him. "I think we need to talk," Emily said over the phone. "I found out about Ryan and Lauren. I want to compare notes." Ethan agreed to meet Emily at a cafe. Together, they pieced together the timeline of the affair, realizing that Ryan had been stringing both Lauren and Emily along. "I'm filing for divorce," Emily said, her voice steely. "You should consider doing the same." Ethan nodded, though he wasn't ready to make a final decision. Ethan's meeting with Emily was a turning point. While he had initially seen himself as alone in his pain, Emily's perspective gave him clarity. She was resolute, determined to leave Ryan and rebuild her life. Her courage inspired Ethan to take decisive steps of his own. "You deserve better than this," Emily said as they parted ways. "We both do." Ethan nodded, her words resonating deeply. For the first time since the truth about Lauren's affairs had come to light, he felt a flicker of determination, not just for revenge, but to reclaim his life. The children caught in the crossfire. While Ethan and Lauren's marriage deteriorated, Olivia and Caleb began to sense the tension in the house. Ethan tried to shield them from the worst of it, but the cold silences and late-night arguments were hard to ignore. "Dad, are you and Mom mad at each other?" Olivia asked one evening as Ethan tucked her into bed. Ethan hesitated, searching for the right words. "Sometimes grown-ups have disagreements," he said gently. "But we both love you and Caleb very much. That will never change." Olivia nodded, though the worry in her eyes lingered. Ethan's resolve to handle the situation carefully deepened. Whatever happened between him and Lauren, the kids would not be collateral damage. A confrontation with Ryan. Ethan's anger boiled over when he learned that Lauren and Ryan were still in contact despite her promises to cut ties. Armed with the evidence the private investigator had gathered, Ethan decided to confront Ryan directly. He waited outside Ryan's office one afternoon, catching him as he left for lunch. "Ryan," Ethan called out, his voice sharp. Ryan turned, his face registering shock. "Ethan. What are you doing here?" Ethan stepped closer, his tone icy. "You've been playing games with my wife and your own. It's time to stop." Ryan raised his hands defensively. "Look, I didn't mean for any of this to happen." "Save it," Ethan interrupted, handing him an envelope filled with the evidence. "Your wife knows everything. If you don't end this now, I'll make sure everyone else does too." Ryan's face paled as he glanced at the contents of the envelope. "Fine. It's over. You have my word." But Ethan wasn't satisfied. He walked away knowing Ryan's word meant little, but the confrontation was a step toward reclaiming control. Lauren's life was unraveling faster than she could control. Ethan's cold demeanor, coupled with his refusal to discuss reconciliation, left her in a constant state of anxiety. One evening, she cornered him in the kitchen. "Ethan, please," she begged. "We can fix this. I love you. I made mistakes, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make it right. Ethan set down the glass he was holding and looked at her, his expression unreadable. You didn't just make mistakes, Lauren. You made choices that destroyed everything we built. Tears streamed down Lauren's face as she whispered, "Don't you love me anymore?" Ethan hesitated before replying. "I loved the woman I thought you were. I'm not sure who you are anymore." Ethan's plan for revenge reached its peak when he uncovered a crucial piece of information. Ryan's firm had strict policies against workplace relationships. Using the evidence he had gathered, Ethan anonymously sent the documentation to Ryan's HR department. Within weeks, Ryan was let go, his professional reputation in shambles. Emily, true to her word, filed for divorce and began taking steps to protect her assets. Lauren, meanwhile, faced increasing social isolation. Friends who had once admired her distanced themselves as the truth about her infidelity spread. Ethan's actions were precise and deliberate, but as the fallout unfolded, he began to question whether revenge was truly satisfying. Ethan's carefully orchestrated revenge took an unexpected turn when Caleb fell ill one evening, complaining of sharp abdominal pain. A frantic trip to the emergency room revealed that Caleb's appendix had ruptured, requiring immediate surgery. The crisis forced Ethan and Lauren to put their differences aside. They sat together in the waiting room, their usual hostility replaced by a shared worry for their son. "Thank you for being here," Lauren said softly, her voice filled with gratitude. Ethan nodded, his focus solely on Caleb. The experience reminded Ethan of what truly mattered, his children. A moment of reflection. After Caleb recovered, Ethan found himself reflecting on the path he had taken since discovering Lauren's betrayal. While his revenge had brought a sense of control, it hadn't healed the pain he carried. During a therapy session, something he had reluctantly agreed to try, his counselor asked a pivotal question. "What do you want your life to look like 5 years from now?" The question lingered in Ethan's mind, forcing him to confront the fact that his current path was unsustainable. A surprising decision. Ethan made the decision to file for divorce, not out of anger but as a step toward rebuilding his life. He met with his lawyer to ensure the process would be as smooth as possible for the sake of Olivia and Caleb. When he told Lauren, she broke down in tears. "I don't want to lose you," she said. "You lost me a long time ago," Ethan replied, his voice firm but not unkind. "It's time for both of us to move forward." Ethan's decision to file for divorce marked the beginning of a difficult and emotionally charged process. While his mind was made up, actually untangling 12 years of marriage was more complicated than he had anticipated. Lauren's initial reaction to the news was one of desperation. "Ethan, please don't do this," she pleaded during their first conversation about the divorce. "We can go to counseling. We can rebuild what we had." Ethan's expression was resolute. "We've tried, Lauren. But I can't move past what you've done. I deserve better than this." Lauren's tears didn't move him. He had made his choice, and now it was time to focus on what came next. A battle for custody. While both Ethan and Lauren agreed that their children's well-being was the top priority, custody negotiations became contentious. Ethan wanted primary custody, citing Lauren's dishonesty and poor decision-making as reasons he could provide a more stable environment. Lauren, however, fought back. "I've been a good mother to Olivia and Caleb," she argued during a mediation session. "My mistakes don't change that." Ethan didn't disagree, but his lawyer advised him to lean on the evidence of her ongoing affair with Ryan as leverage. The battle became more heated than Ethan had anticipated, leaving both him and Lauren emotionally drained. The stress of the divorce took a visible toll on Lauren. With her social circle fractured and her relationship with Ethan beyond repair, she began to isolate herself. Her work suffered, and she found it increasingly difficult to maintain the same level of focus and creativity. One evening, Megan, her oldest friend, stopped by unannounced. "You're not yourself, Lauren," Megan said, her tone concerned. You need to pull yourself together, for your kids if nothing else. Lauren nodded, tears welling in her eyes. I've lost everything, Megan. I don't even know where to start. Start by being honest with yourself, Megan replied gently. An unexpected development. Midway through the divorce proceedings, an unexpected revelation turned everything on its head. Ethan's lawyer discovered that Ryan had been involved in a fraudulent business deal, which led to his finances being frozen during an ongoing investigation. This meant that the financial support Lauren had secretly received from Ryan during their affair was suddenly gone. Ethan, who had suspected the relationship might have involved more than just emotions, felt vindicated. When he confronted Lauren about it, she admitted the truth. Yes, he helped me financially, she confessed, her voice heavy with shame. I didn't want to burden you, and he offered. It wasn't what you think. Ethan's anger resurfaced. You betrayed me and then let someone else step into my role as a provider? Do you even understand how insulting that is? Lauren had no response, her silence speaking volumes. The final court date. The day their divorce was finalized was bittersweet. Ethan was granted primary custody of Olivia and Caleb, with Lauren receiving visitation rights. The division of assets was straightforward, thanks to the evidence Ethan had gathered about her financial ties to Ryan. As they left the courthouse, Lauren approached Ethan. Thank you for not making this worse than it had to be, she said softly. Ethan looked at her, his expression unreadable. I didn't do this to punish you, Lauren. I did it to protect myself and the kids. I hope you find a way to move forward. Lauren nodded, tears glistening in her eyes. I hope you do too. With the divorce behind him, Ethan focused on rebuilding his life. He poured his energy into his work, earning a promotion that provided both financial stability and a renewed sense of purpose. He also prioritized his relationship with Olivia and Caleb, creating new routines and traditions to help them feel secure in their new reality. One evening, as they played a board game together, Olivia looked at her dad and said, I like it when we're like this. Just us. Ethan smiled, his heart swelling with pride. Me too, sweetheart. Lauren, meanwhile, began taking steps toward redemption. She started seeing a therapist, where she confronted the choices that had led to her affairs and the damage they had caused. During one session, she admitted, I've spent so much time trying to fill a void I didn't even understand. I hurt the people I love most, and now I have to live with that. Her therapist nodded. Acknowledging the pain you've caused is an important step. Now it's about deciding how you'll move forward. Lauren also began repairing her relationship with Olivia and Caleb, using her visitation time to rebuild trust and create positive memories. A year after the divorce, Ethan met someone new, Sarah, a kind and compassionate woman he was introduced to through mutual friends. Their connection was easy and natural, and for the first time in years, Ethan felt hopeful about the future. Their relationship developed slowly, with Ethan prioritizing his children's needs above all else. Sarah admired his dedication to his family, and her understanding nature made the transition seamless for Olivia and Caleb. A final encounter. 2 years after the divorce, Ethan and Lauren crossed paths unexpectedly at a school event for Caleb. It was their first real conversation in months, and the interaction was surprisingly civil. I'm glad you're happy, Lauren said quietly, glancing at Sarah, who stood nearby. Ethan nodded. I hope you find happiness too. For the first time, Lauren felt a sense of closure. While her mistakes would always be a part of her story, she realized that she still had the opportunity to build something better for herself and her children. Ethan's journey from heartbreak to healing was marked by pain, resilience, and growth. While Lauren's betrayal had left scars, it also taught him the value of self-respect and the importance of surrounding himself with people who truly cared. Lauren's path was one of redemption, a painful but necessary process of confronting her flaws and striving to become a better version of herself. In the end, Both Ethan and Lauren found ways to move forward, their lives forever changed but not defined by the past.